Welcome to our morning show visit today from WRCO Radio. We're pleased to talk about an upcoming event at the Richland Center City Auditorium. The Thief of Bagdad movie will be shown there this coming Friday. We'll talk about the significance of that. In the studio with us, first of all, today is Dave Roberts, who's a member of the City Auditorium Board. And Dave, it's kind of one of the things that we ask for when you're a first-time guest in the studio, to tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been in the area for about 22 years, various places like Yuba, near Avoca, and in Richland Center. I have a company called Forward Optics, which I run out of my home here in Richland Center, and we're a national company that sells anti-counterfeiting products, and that's going pretty well.
Sure. I'm sure that's something that's much needed these days, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Indeed it is, yeah. Anything from currency, which I've worked on, to simple things like brand authentication, the little tags that hang from products like, NFL jerseys and stuff like that, keep people from making counterfeits.
Do you put tags on mattresses so you can't rip the tag off or not?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah. I think ours you can destruct. So
okay. So you grew up in the Madison area, correct?
I did. Yep. Grew up on the west side of Madison.
Were you aware of Richland Center when you were growing up there?
That's a good question. No. It's in the bubble of Madison. Yeah, I went to West High School and yep.
I know that you've been at and a part of a lot of shows over the years, a lot of concerts.
Yeah. That was my thing back then, my first concert was when I was 13 years old. I think I mentioned it to you. Yeah, it was Queen at the Coliseum, the night of the opera tour.
Wow.
Yeah. And it just spiraled from there.
That's a good first concert right there.
It was.
So has that kind of motivated you and prompted you to kind of want to maybe bring some things to the stage here in Richland Center?
Oh, for sure, yeah. When I was 18, I started a sound company. And so I've been doing sound engineering ever since then. And I've been doing a lot of recording engineering. I used to have a recording studio in Madison. So, I've always been interested in music and production of music. And I love old theaters. There's something magical about them, and the auditorium is definitely one of those theaters, and the opportunity to be part of that has been really cool.
Tell me about the first time you walked into the City Auditorium in Richland Center, and what were your thoughts?
The first time was quite a few years ago, back when there was an antique store in the lower level, and I actually bought some theater chairs there that were from a theater in Tennessee from the 30s that I still have. But when I was there visiting the antique store, I wandered into the theater and was really amazed by it.
It is an amazing place, and since you've been able to see some shows there, but the acoustics for the time that it was built and everything, it's got a great sound, doesn't it?
It does. It's an amazing theater for acoustics. Full Compass did an analysis on it, apparently, at one point, and said it was one of the best theaters in southwest Wisconsin for acoustics.
And you think about when the time it was built, what they did or what went into the engineering to make it that way.
Yeah. Did they get lucky? Or
I don't know. I was going to ask you.
Yeah. No, I think they probably, copied other designs that had been successful. They didn't have the equipment that we have today to analyze spaces for acoustics. But it's... when you do plays there, you can sit in the back of the balcony and hear people on stage perfectly. It's really nice acoustics.
When you've had a few shows here lately, they've been well attended. The Christmas show with Maggie May, that went over really well.
Yeah, that was a big show for us. Yep. Yeah, very well attended. We're hoping to do that again this season, this Christmas season.
And you had the Jimmy's last fall?
Jimmy's was a big show for us. Yep, that was a great show. Well attended again. We have been doing a comedy show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the comedy show. We had 2 comedians there. That was, I believe, in February, and that was a good show. So we're trying to bring a lot of different types of entertainment there, and as we work on the auditorium and get it restored, we really want that to be a gem of Richland Center, a place where people can go frequently and see various shows.
Escanaba in the Moonlight, the play just a couple of weeks ago, that was well attended, wasn't it?
That was a huge success, yeah. It was a great play. It was really funny. It was really well done. And that was 3 nights, very well attended. From what I understand, it was 700 plus people that attended that show.
So you have an event coming up on Friday night. Tell us the significance of showing The Thief of Baghdad, Dave.
Thief of Baghdad, back by popular demand.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's taken us a while to rescreen it, but, we've been busy.
Over 100 years.
Yeah, 100 years, yeah. To the month. We found a program from that weekend, and it occurred to me, why not rescreen this? 100 years later, 100-year anniversary screening of a silent film called The Thief of Baghdad with Douglas Fairbanks in it, who was a very famous silent film star of the period. And it's an amazing movie, and it'll be a lot of fun. I think it's a free event, so hopefully people will come on down and enjoy a blast from the past.
It definitely is. Were you aware of the movie before you put this together?
I wasn't, no. It was a program that introduced me to the movie. Yeah.
And then when you show it, was it hard to find a print of it to show here in the theater or not?
Did a little research. The print that we're showing is a restoration that was done in 2013 from 2 35-millimeter negatives that were found. And it's been restored, and it looks great. It's using some color tinting that was used in the period. So the black and white film was actually tinted in color. And, you'll see that as you watch the film.
There is a real group of people that are just avid fans of silent movies in the silent era.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a whole different form of entertainment, isn't it?
It really is. And we'll see how well this one does. I'd really like to bring more silent films to the auditorium. And it would be really fun to do live music accompaniment to it. This particular film has a score that's pre-recorded that goes with the film, but live music would really be the way to go with some silent films there.
Lots of theaters back then had the piano right up front, and then the player would sit there and play along.
We had an orchestra pit at one time. That's been covered up, but there used to be an orchestra pit and an orchestra for films.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So your time on the board, you've been able to learn quite a bit about that structure.
Yeah, I have. I've crawled around all of the catacombs of the theater, and it's really interesting.
Lots of nooks and crannies in there.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
At the time when it was built, it was kind of unprecedented for the amount of dressing rooms that they had as well.
Yeah, there's 8 dressing rooms on 2 different levels. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. 8? Yeah, 8. 8 dressing rooms. It is, and there's a big green room downstairs, which is a backstage area, which we're restoring. It's got a really unique system that was installed for heating the place. That is no longer functional, but that's quite a thing to see. It's a fascinating building.
When you think about the sadness of so many buildings that have been knocked down over the years, it's great that we have this treasure in Richland Center, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it was built in 1913. Started in 1912 and opened in 1913. So, yeah, it's a great treasure for Richland Center.
As far as we know, this is one of the first, if not the first, movie shown at that theater. Correct?
No, actually, there was quite a few films.
Okay, before that?
Films used to play there regularly, almost every week, from what I can tell. I was down looking at the newspapers of the period yesterday, and there was an ad every week for the auditorium with a new film that was playing there. Also at the Orpheum, there would be a film playing. So films were popular back then. This was a big one, though.
Well, I was going to say, it is the 100th anniversary of it showing here in Richland Center, too. So that's the other cool thing about it.
Right. And the fact that there was a program for it, and the program cost just as much as the ticket did to attend the film, made it just showed that it was a big film at the time.
And you think about then, they actually had to mail the movie canisters or whatever it was to the various places. So probably rode the train to get here?
Right. It took time. This film was actually premiered. It premiered in 1924, but didn't play in Richland Center until 1925. So it takes a while to get around, especially to the smaller communities. And I'm not sure how they did sound back then. I don't know if there was a live accompaniment or not. There's nothing that's written about that. But if there was a live accompaniment, I don't know if that was a local group of musicians that were reading from a score or musicians that actually traveled.
The film starts at 7 o'clock on Friday night, and you'll have music there at 6 o'clock, it sounds like.
Yeah, Mastodon Records is going to provide some DJ music for us, Craig Woodhouse, and that'll be a lot of fun.
It's amazing that he was able to find the best of 1925, too, so he'll be able to play that.
Yeah, he's got access to some older records. Yeah. I think he's going to have put in the capability of playing a 78 RPM record or two. So, yeah, we'll definitely be in the period.
Hopefully he has the crank turntable where he has to keep cranking it to keep it going. Well, it's April 1st. Look at this. We have, walking in the studio now, we have, this is a rare treat. I'm told we have a Hollywood legend here today, Douglas Fairbanks. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Phil, and thank you for having me on the show.
Awesome. How did you find your way to Richland Center?
Oh, I just took the train and got off the train and called for a taxi, and they brought us over.
That's awesome. So tell us about The Thief of Baghdad.
The Thief of
your
Baghdad.
New movie.
Yes, it's marvelous film. It was, I think it's my best film to date, actually. It's a wonderful story. You know, it's based upon 1001 Arabian Nights. And I first got the idea when my wife Mary and I, Mary Pickford.
Oh, sure.
After Robin Hood, we decided to take a trip to Europe. And on the way back, I decided to stop at Tunisia. Well, it was marvelous. There were camels and merchants and the square in the center of the cities and the old time fellows there, and it just got me thinking and got me wondering about doing a movie set in that time period. And well, here we are, you know.
You were well received in Europe, I believe, weren't you? You and Mary?
Oh, we were mobbed. We were absolutely mobbed. Mary was fearful for her life, both in England and in France when we were there. Yes, she's even more popular than I am, I must say. And then my best friend Charlie Chaplin is also tremendously popular. We're the three most popular movie artists in the world. world at this point.
So the movie Thief of Baghdad, there's a lot of swashbuckling in there too. Do you like that style of movie?
Well, yes, and of course it's been very it's become kind of my new trademark. You know, a few years ago, I started out with The Mark of Zorro, which was very popular. Lots of people saw that, and it moved on to The Three Musketeers, and then Robin Hood, and now The Thief of Baghdad. And absolutely, a swashbuckling film is something that I think everyone can enjoy.
Indeed. And do you do a lot of your own stunts then?
I do all of my own stunts.
Wow, that's impressive.
I should say almost all of my own stunts. Now, if the director feels that it's simply too dangerous to risk the star in a particular stunt, you know, you often have to do them over and over again, then perhaps I will use a stunt double. But other than that, I do all of my own stunts. And I might say I pride myself upon that.
You've written a book, too.
I have written a book, yes, kind of a recollection about my own life, and that's been well received and quite gratifying. But I'm foremost a movie actor and movie production person, so...
Interesting. You know, there's talk I've read about some upcoming things, scientific breakthroughs about movies that actually talk.
Yes.
What's your feeling about that as an actor?
Well, you know, a movie is a visual art. It's a visual thing that you're supposed to watch. I just think that a lot of dialogue might get in the way. Now, I was a stage actor for many, many years. I started out on Broadway and have done many theatrical pieces. So I'm not ruling out the possibility that talking movies might become popular if they ever do manage to work out the mechanics of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. That's and maybe down the road as well. But otherwise, we have to kind of read the dialogue too.
Yes, the titles, the titles, and that's an art in and of itself to write the titles for the movies. And yes, the titles are very important. But the story is really brought out by the action and the actors and actresses up there on the screen. So.
Can you give us a little bit of a synopsis of The Thief of Baghdad?
Oh, yes. The Thief of Baghdad starts out, and there is an older man telling the story to the younger boy, and then we dissolve, and we're in some town, you know, in the Arabian Peninsula, and we're watching Ahmed, the Prince of Thieves, as he steals his way through a day. Then he hears that the Princess of Baghdad is to be married, and suitors are going to be coming to Baghdad, princes, to woo her. The Thief of Baghdad realizes that this would be a marvelous opportunity to steal. And so he goes to Baghdad and watches as the princes arrive and show up to woo the princess, and then styles himself as a prince with his assistant. And they go in, and actually the princess sees him, falls in love with him, but he has to admit to her that he is just a thief. He falls for her. He hides himself in her bedchamber to kidnap her, actually, and decides that is something that he cannot do because he's fallen in love with her, and reveals to her that he is the thief. So he is flogged and turned out of the palace. And at that point, he goes to a holy man, and the holy man says, if you love this princess, then make yourself a prince. And that's what he endeavors to do. He goes on a journey, as all the princes have to do, to find the greatest treasure of all. And he must fight through dragons and through underwater events and all sorts of things until finally he gets the flying horse, receives the treasure, and comes back and wins the hand of the princess. I mean, it's just a huge story, a magnificent story. And it's told with such a aplomb and so beautifully photographed. I have to say that William Menzies did a marvelous job. I brought him in, and he did pen and ink drawings of the sets. And we have translated those drawings into the actual sets, and they're just beautiful. The bedroom of the princess with the flowing drapes that come around her bed, just breathtaking and huge. The sets are 9 stories high, and we achieved this because we still had the sets from Robin Hood. We still had the castle on our movie lot where we film our movies. Mary and I film our movies. And so we built the set for Baghdad on top of the castle that was already there. And so we achieved these huge sets, beautifully done. It's just a magnificent vehicle to film this movie in. It covered, I think, 6 acres of land and 3,000 extras in the movie. And, there were camels and elephants and all sorts of, my wife Mary was taken with the camels, and she wanted a camel ride. And so, of course, I arranged for that, and so she had her camel ride. It was the first and last camel ride she ever had, because she didn't really care for the beasts once she got on the back of one. So, well, that was that.
Did she pick up some fleas then, or?
Oh, good heavens, no. No. Not that I know of.
Okay, I will hope not anyway. We're talking with Doug Fairbanks, who is here in the studio. This is amazing. You have really aged well.
Well, thank you.
I must say, you're looking good.
I worked very hard at keeping in shape. And on my movie sets, I would have gymnastic areas set up so that I and some of my friends could work out during the course of the movies, barbells and vaulting horses and things like that. And actually, I don't like this to get around too much, but I enjoyed running in the buff, as it were. And so we built a track that was below ground on the movie set so that I could run without being observed during the course of the day. And yes, so being healthy and staying in shape was really something that was very important to me and that I worked at very hard.
What's the advantage of running in the buff then?
Well, I don't know. I think there's just something, the Greek athletes, at the original, the games did all of their competitions and things like that in the buff, and so I thought that I would try it.
Wonderful.
So, yes.
So why should people from Richland Center go see The Thief of Baghdad Friday night at the auditorium?
Oh, well, it's such an incredibly well done, charming, extravagant, wonderful movie. There's something in it for everyone. The whole first part of the movie is the love story between Ahmed, the Prince of Thieves, and the princess, who is a very beautiful girl. Her name is Julianne Johnson, and actually, I discovered her during a preview of my movie Robin Hood. At one of the theaters, they had a presentation ahead of time, and she was one of the dancers that I saw there, and I was so taken with her that I contacted her and eventually gave her the lead part in the movie, which, strangely enough, there was another actress contracted to do that part, but she decided, incredibly, she didn't care for the part and she didn't want it. And so I moved Julianne Johnson up from being the Mongol slave, which was the original casting role for her, to actually be the Princess of Baghdad. And that left room for Anna May Wong to become the Mongol slave. And she has done just an incredible job in that part. One of the interesting things is she looks so exotic. She's actually a girl from Los Angeles. So she's born and raised in Los Angeles. And yes, but She's had quite a stroke of luck with this movie. She's become quite well known and has become a model and has become pretty much the it girl in Hollywood these days. So
awesome. Well, we see your picture a lot in the Hollywood magazines and things like that.
Yes, quite a beauty.
A lot of the press.
A beauty, yes.
There's certainly some paparazzi that follows you around all the time, though.
Yes.
Does that get tiring then?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I try to take it in good stead, Yeah. It's part of the price of being a well-known movie actor, so I do the best I can with it.
Very impressive that you stopped our studios to see us here today, Mr. Fairbanks, so we appreciate it very much that you came in here.
Thank you.
Yes. Doug Fairbanks joining us. This is April 1st, and we'll talk more about the upcoming movie, For Real, The Thief of Baghdad, on the morning show when we come back. On our morning show today from WRCO, we're talking about The Thief of Baghdad. Dave Roberts is here. Dave, that was amazing that Doug Fairbanks just showed up.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? I mean, who would know?
I didn't know that. He must be about 130 or 40.
34 maybe?
Yeah, something like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, he looks good.
Looks good and sounds good. So I didn't ask him if he's going to make an appearance at the show on Friday night or not. But.
Yeah, well, I was just surprised by the visit, so who knows?
What do you do? Well, we want to emphasize, though, that it's for real. The movie is coming up on Friday night. You're going to have some concessions there, I understand.
Yeah, we'll have full concessions, popcorn, anything to drink. We'll have beer and wine there as well. Again, this event is free of charge, so come on down and have some fun with a 100-year-old movie.
I think the chance to experience it, because we've seen them on the small screen, but the chance to see it in an auditorium setting, it's going to be interesting for me.
Right, and an auditorium where it played 100 years ago. So, it's pretty special, I think.
No doubt. What about some upcoming shows? Any plans in the near future?
We've got a band called The Jammers coming on May 10th. That should be a rollicking, fun show. That's presently what we've got scheduled, and we'll have more shows coming up shortly.
You mentioned maybe some more movies too. Are there some plans in line for that, or
not specifically?
Okay,
but we'll see how it goes with The Thief at Baghdad. But I'd love to do that in the future for sure.
Great, and I think that you'd like to kind of get in a circuit where maybe you have some more regular guests to the auditorium, maybe even once a month. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a goal of ours, is to have an event at least once a month.
You have some new people on the board as well, don't you, recently?
We do. We've got quite a few new people. I am the newest board member, but it's the board has been doing an amazing job on the auditorium, on restoring it, on making it a inviting place to come to. We've got a lot of work to do, and we're always looking for sponsors and donations to the project. We're involved in some basic things like potentially getting some new chairs in there, getting some new exit doors, restoring some of the rooms that have fallen into disrepair, restoring the lobby, possibly getting some bathrooms on that floor, and a lot of projects.
But you've made progress because, with the elevator and some, that new wing there, it's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing progress. Yeah, the elevator wing, which was over $1 million, was just such an upgrade to that building. Yeah, it's really transformed the place.
Andrew Sharp has stopped by the studio. He's back in the studio with us here. You missed it. Doug Fairbanks was here. It was just amazing.
I can't believe that happened, and gosh, I wasn't here for it.
Yeah, so, you missed it, but good to have you here now.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You directed Escanaba in the Moonlight, or you were a part of it. How did it go?
Oh, it went exceptionally well.
Yeah?
It was very well received. I'm kicking myself, and I think I said this on the show before, that we didn't do it for 2 weekends. But that's life. It went very well for the weekend that we did it. I had a great cast of real hams up there that really milked it for everything I thought it was worth, and that there was a bunch of actors that really know how to do comedy, and so it went very well.
Yeah, I was impressed. I thought you did great. The cast was well cast, but the thing of it was they all did such a good job of physical comedy,
right?
Which isn't always easy to do.
Right, yeah. And of course, we worked on it. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for physical comedy with that show, and I think that they took advantage of it. And I've got to say, too, I wasn't the only director. Dave Tim directed with me, Glenn Dunn, and so we all, the actors would have ideas, we would have ideas, and so it was the best of all worlds of putting everything together. So,
putting on a show at the City Auditorium, that's a unique opportunity for you, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. One of the beauties of it, and you've been talking about the acoustics there, that theater has got wonderful acoustics. And so if you turn the heat off or whatever so that the heat isn't going, you can really hear quite well. You don't need to mic the actors, which you really have to out at the high school. It adds a whole layer of uncertainty to everything because the mics often malfunction and stuff like that, or one's too loud and one's too soft. So it's nice just to have the actors be able to do it without being mic'd. It's also nice for us. We store our stuff there, Community Players does, and so instead of having to run to the auditorium to get stuff, it's right there with us. So that was nice, too.
I thought for Escanaba Into Moonlight as well, you had people there that might not normally go to a theatrical production.
Yeah, Dwayne Welty, who's the president of the community, the Richland County Performing Arts Council, said that he talked to somebody who'd never been to the auditorium before. Even though he's a lifelong resident of Richland County, he'd never actually been to the auditorium, which kind of amazing to me. I guess probably not that unusual. So, but
what's the next plan, though? Do you have another production coming up this summer?
Yeah, we're planning on doing Little Shop of Horrors in the summer. We don't know exactly what the dates are right now. I'm in communication with the high school about when the best time to do it out there would be. They've got the renovations that they're going to be doing to the theater, but I don't think they're going to start by this summer. So Little Shop of Horrors this summer. We're doing Pride and Prejudice in the fall, and that'll probably be back at the auditorium. We plan on doing that there. So those are the two shows that we have planned so far for this year.
Rather ambitious to have 3 in a year, isn't it?
Yeah, we've never done 3 in a year, and that's probably a direct result of the demise of the campus. Because, in the spring, I or somebody would be directing a show out at the campus that would focus our energies away, but also that we didn't want to compete with. Well, now there's no campus show, so we're free to do a show not only in the spring but in the fall because we're not competing with the campus anymore. So.
We talked about the movie, The Thief of Baghdad, but I think it's a cool opportunity for people to go and see a film and see kind of what it was like back in 1925.
Yeah, and I have watched it all the way through a couple of times, and I'm really taken with it. I really love it. It's a huge, magnificent, beautiful movie. And the version that Dave has found has got music with it. It was Scheherazade by Rimsky-Korsakov, which is one of my favorite pieces of music. And so I can just listen to the music all the way through and be happy. But I know that you were talking before about the music for the show. And actually, Mortimer Wilson provided a classical score for the music for The Thief of Baghdad. Now, that has been lost or something like that. I mean, they still have the score for it, but there is no recording of it. So they must have had some way to play it when they sent the movie out to be able to play it as well, to play the score.
Yeah, lots of times live piano players, correct, in a lot of the theaters then?
No, I got the impression, well, okay, so maybe it was... Maybe it was somebody playing it, that they sent the score along and somebody was supposed to play it. I had more the impression, perhaps not, that it accompanied it.
Well, could have had maybe a record. You would have had to have maybe a turntable set up if you were going to play music behind a film then, if you didn't have live music.
Well, they certainly had they certainly had phonograph. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd have to look more into that to see exactly how they did it or how it was set up.
Indeed.
So.
And Doug Fairbanks, he had quite a career there, but he didn't have a real successful career after the talkies came in the 30s.
Exactly, yeah. He was actually the first president of the Motion Picture Academy. He was the first presenter at the Academy Awards. He was one of the first people to have their hands and footprints at Grauman's Theater, he and Mary Pickford as well. So Charlie Chaplin, who was his best friend, and Mary Pickford were the three biggest stars in Hollywood in the 20s, hands down. And but then once the talkies came along, he just didn't feel, he saw the movies as a visual medium, and he tried with talkies, but it's like his heart wasn't really in it. And then despite all of his athleticism and everything like that, he was a chain smoker, and he died at 56 from a heart attack in 1939. So, the evils of smoking children. So beware, anyway.
There were some actors that did not make that transition because I think audiences perceived what they sounded like, and then when they heard the voice of this actor or actress, they weren't impressed.
Right.
Right.
It was Gilbert. His name. The famous story is an actor, and I know his last name is Gilbert, and I can't think of his first name, but he was also a movie star, a well-regarded movie star, but he had a high-pitched voice, and it really was accentuated by the recording process then. And once he couldn't be in talkies because his voice wasn't suited to it. So many actors really, I don't want to say are made by their voice, but like Clark Gable, beautiful. I mean, it was his voice that really made him. Lee Marvin, a lot of actors that I could name. The voice is very important.
Kind of the tough guy voice in some regards.
Right.
John Wayne.
John Wayne, and actually, I just the director of The Thief of Baghdad. Raoul Walsh was the fellow that basically spotted and developed John Wayne, gave John Wayne his name. I can't remember what he was reading, but he named John Wayne and directed him in his first famous picture that really made him. And I don't have that in front of me, or do I here?
John Wayne was in silent movies before.
Well,
talkies.
and it was actually a talkie in 1930. The Big Trail in 1930, starring John Wayne in his first leading role, and that was Raoul Walsh directing him. So he really discovered John Wayne. Raoul Walsh, the director, also. I don't know if you've ever seen Birth of a Nation. I took a film class in college, and Birth of a Nation, despite its horrible subject matter, is regarded as the first real movie. And Raoul Walsh, the director for The Thief of Baghdad, played John Wilkes Booth.
Oh.
He was the assistant director. He was an assistant director for D.W. Griffith. So,
is that one of the most famous silent movies, Birth of a Nation?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's where a film school basically starts, is with Birth of a Nation, because he introduced so many things. It was the first 12-reel movie. It was 3 hours long, and it told a complete story, and et cetera, et cetera. It used all sorts of cinematic techniques for the first time. So
it was quite a challenge for the projectionist to show a film with that many reels. I presume they must have had to have two projectors.
Right. A lot of films were what they called two-reelers back then, were shorts, but a 12-reel movie, that was a first, from what I understand. Yeah,
I think we're maybe better aware of the comedies that came out. You mentioned Charlie Chaplin, but Harold Lloyd was another one of my favorites. Those silents were just awesome.
Yes, yeah. There were a lot of silent movies, and actually, seeing The Thief of Baghdad has kind of kindled my interest in silent movies. I always meant to watch silent movies, but I've never really done it. And now, after having watched The Thief of Baghdad, I've started watching The Mark of Zorro. And then last night, I decided to start watching Blood and Sand with Rudolph Valentino, another very famous movie from 1922. So I'll have to watch them and tell you later how they are.
Oh, that's awesome. What about a dream movie? Is there one that you can think of that you'd like to see shown at the auditorium in Richland Center?
Oh, golly gosh, I would have to think about it.
Not just silent, maybe a classic film.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Most of my favorite movies are much more recent. Lawrence of Arabia is my favorite movie. Glory is another one that I like a lot. Mm-hmm. Apollo 13, strangely enough, is another one that's just
perfect.
I know it's a sobby tearjerker kind of movie, but I guess I love that stuff. For old movies, I read The Hunchback of Notre Dame a few years ago and was so taken with it that I wrote a play, and we did the play. Kind of like Ma Burkett writing a play and then reading something and making a play out of it. But Hunchback of Notre Dame with Lon Chaney, of course, being a makeup man, I worship Lon Chaney. And so that would be one that I would really love to see. That's a great, great story.
The newer version was Charles Lawton, wasn't it?
Right,
the talkie version.
In the but I like Lon Chaney's Hunchback better than Charles Lawton. He was a great actor, but yeah. It just seems more like it was actually back then when you have a silent movie. They're actually filming in 1818 or whatever it was.
Right.
So,
yeah, showing a scary one at the auditorium. I could see that being...
Well, the Phantom of the Opera, it would have to almost be Phantom of the Opera. The whole mask reveal scene where she takes the mask off of him. Yeah. He had fishing line in his nose to pull his nose up, and it was attached to his wig.
Is that right?
That's how he got that look.
How painful that must have been.
The man would do anything. For one role, he had to be crippled, and so he tied his legs up tight, and his doctor told him not to leave that on for more than half an hour, and of course he'd leave it on all day. But yeah, he was really something, Lon Chaney. And it kills me now that young people, and I'm showing my age, no idea who I'm talking about. If I say Lon Chaney, never heard of him.
Probably haven't heard of Lon Chaney Jr. either.
Never heard of Lon Chaney Jr., the Wolfman.
Other than Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon. Lon Chaney and Lon Chaney Jr.
Got to get a big plate of beef chow mein. I've got a shirt that's Lee Ho Fook's and beef chow mein.
Beef chow mein from that song. Yeah, awesome. Dave, we can let you weigh in on it as well. Any ideas for like what you would consider a great movie to be shown at the auditorium someday?
There's been a thought to do a comedy in the spring and a horror film in the fall. And for comedies, you mentioned some great ones, with Buster Keaton or Charlie Chaplin. We actually have Charlie Chaplin, The Kid, which would be a great one. That's a classic film.
I was just looking at pictures of Jackie Coogan last night with The Kid. He was the cutest little boy I have ever seen, and probably the ugliest adult I have ever seen. He really did a transformation.
He became a famous actor later in life.
Yeah.
He was in the Addams Family.
Family, Uncle Fester.
But he did transition from the kid actor to adults, and a lot of them don't do that.
Yeah, after his parents stole all his money.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, very famous back in the day. He went to his parents and said, well, I'm 18, I'd like my money now. And they say, that's not your money, it's our money. And he sued them. And there was a law put in place that the parents had to save 15% of the children's earnings after that, which meant they could still spend 85% of it. But the Jackie Coogan lawsuit was famous.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of fun to show one at Halloween time at the auditorium.
It sure would. Yeah, there's a lot of great horror films.
And once in a while you have a bat fly too, so that'd be add to the ambiance.
You're not supposed to mention that.
Sorry.
No. We're working on that.
Yeah. Okay. On down the road, but it's fun to talk about and fun to put in place some of these things and shows. And you mentioned the seats. Is there kind of a timeline where you'd like to?
No, there isn't a timeline, but. We're working diligently at it. There's opportunities that pop up that we take a look at, and we'd love to do it sooner than later, but it's a big project. really big project.
And I keep getting told the seats have been Dave's the newest member on the board. I happen to be the oldest, and we've been talking about the seats for 20 years now. So, but I keep getting told that we've got to do the roof before we do the seats.
Okay.
So, anyway.
I'll tell you, the seat cushions that you can get, that make quite a difference too, right?
Right. They do improve things, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was, I'm not sure, was that Dwayne Welty that got those new cushions? Or
I think that was Paul.
Paul Nower. Thank you, Paul Nower, for getting those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I will mention, Phil, that in regards to the silent films, if there is any musicians out there that would be interested in playing to a silent film, certainly let us know.
Oh, fun. That would be really authentic, wouldn't it?
It would be. It'd be great to have live music to a silent film because there's scores for all of these films.
Great. Well, we hope there's a good response. Again, it's free, so, and if people want to stop by, maybe watch some of the movie, although I'm guessing if you see some of the movie, you're going to get drawn into it, hopefully.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's Friday night.
Right.
Music starts at 6, and you'll have some snacks, and the movie starts at 7. Does it play right through, or is there intermission as well?
We haven't decided yet about that, but we'll decide on that. It'll probably play right through, and then we'll have music afterwards. So
great. At the auditorium. Thanks for coming in today, you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Andrew Sharp joining us along with Dave Roberts and earlier Douglas Fairbanks in the studio on April 1st. We appreciate that. And we'll have more coming up tomorrow on our morning show.